January 17th, 2019 to order at 6:01. Commissioner, how do you pronounce your last name?
Blockdyke.
Blockdyke. Commissioner Blockdyke, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I will. Everybody stand, put your right hand over your heart, and say with pride, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Blockdyke?
Here.
Commissioner Eglin?
Here.
Commissioner Sarkia is absent. Vice Chair Hamel? Here. Chair Heady?
Here. Reordering the agenda, I'd like to submit that we have the one item of business, the preliminary review of Highway 246 at Avenue Flag Commercial Project, be moved to the very back of the thing because I have to recuse myself. Is that okay with everybody? Instead of a voiced vote?
Yes.
Yes.
So somebody want to second that? They'd have to?
I'll second it.
You don't need a vote.
Okay. Don't need a vote?
No.
Okay. So I guess that takes us to the written communications?
Minutes.
Oh, excuse me. Approval of the minutes of the January 3rd meeting.
I'd like the motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second
it.
Go ahead. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public comments. There are none. Consent calendar. There is none. Continued public hearing. Written communication. Any planning commissioner comments? I'd just like to welcome our new member. Glad to see you. All right, and hopefully you'll enjoy your time here. So, looking forward to it. Great. And then the planning, anybody else?
No.
The planning director report.
Good evening, Chair Heady and commissioners. I would also like to second Commissioner Heady's comment and welcome Mike Eglin to the Planning Commission. I also hope you enjoy your time here. We've got lots of exciting projects coming up. So, to move on here, just wanted to update you. The City Council did approve the Central Homes project with all of the conditions. So, you know, the applicant will be required to submit plans with all of the corrections as listed in the resolution.
Just as a note, do you think have they shown any progress? I know they're supposed to do it all together, but have you had any communication with them?
I have not had any communication with them since the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
The second is the discussion and reopening of the public hearing for the Cambrian Boutique Hotel project is going to be on February 7th. So that will be at the next meeting, the next meeting that we'll meet. So since there's a fifth Thursday in this month, the next Planning Commission meeting will be the 7th.
Okay.
So, and other than that, we've just got the Arco gas station on the northern end of the Avenue of Flags, as well as the 518 Avenue of Flags mixed use project. We're expecting resubmittals of both of those projects, so you know, hopefully we'll have them ready for public hearing in the near future. But we just need to get their resubmittals back and analyze the plans at that point. And that's all I've got.
Any questions? Okay, now we come to the other business. A preliminary review of Highway 246 at Avenue Flags Commercial Project. And let me see if I got that all right. Yeah, so it's a new public hearing, or no, it's a preliminary review. And I will have to recuse myself because of the ownership of property within 500 feet of the property. And I turn it over to you.
Thank you. Do I need to scoot over, or should I?
No, you're fine.
Okay, cool. Fine.
Thank you, staff.
Okay, thank you.
Dan. Have a good night.
At least it's not wet.
That's right.
Oh, thanks. I could have walked over here. You never know.
Okay. So then, do I turn it over to Irma?
Yes. All right. Thank you, Vice Chair Hamel and members of the Planning Commission. I'm going to be making a presentation tonight on the Highway 246 at Avenue of Flags commercial project. We received an application for final development plan, and, oops. There we go. We received an application for a final development plan for development of two one-story commercial buildings with patios and parking, and a lot line adjustment to realign the property, one of the property lines between two of the existing 5 parcels, and this is being done to allow for each of the buildings to be situated on a discrete parcel. The total number of lots and acreage will remain the same. The property owner is Glenn Hartman, and the applicant agent for the owner is Daphne Romani of Solievo Architects, and she is in the audience tonight. These two maps show the general location of the project. The vicinity map outlines the project and shows the 5 parcels that currently exist on the property. I've also included the Avenue Flag specific plan just to put it into context of where the property is located, and it's located on Opportunity Site 10, which is a much larger piece that we had included in the specific plan and as potential for redevelopment. This project is proposing to utilize only a few of those parcels. The site is approximately 1.9 acres. There are 3 existing commercial buildings on the site currently, one of which is the former Tres Rosas restaurant. And these existing buildings are proposed to be demolished. And a good majority of the site is vacant. I'm going to get this great laser and I can use it to point. So the existing buildings are located right along here, and the rest of the site is predominantly vacant, and this is being used for some parking down here. Zaka Creek does run along the lower edge of the site here, and it goes into culverts approximately here. Flying Flags is down here. There's a vacant lot over here to the east, beyond which is the Shell gas station, and then sideways in is down here. The Avenue of Flags is right here, and P. Soup Anderson's is to the north right here. The land use for this property is general commercial. The zoning for the property is general commercial specific plan, and the Avenue of Flags specific plan was adopted on October 2017, as I previously mentioned, for this property. There's also a AHAWS designation. Well, actually, it's an overlay on this property. The AHAWS description for this particular site says that priority is given to commercial development over residential at this particular location, and because this is a commercial development, the AHAWS would not be applicable to the proposed use. The height limit for this property is 35 feet. Parking requirements for the proposed uses being commercial and restaurant. There's 1 space required per 300 square feet of commercial uses, which include the restaurant and the outdoor seating area, and 1 space per 2 employees. Architectural character required is Art Deco per the specific plan, and this area, being that it's under the specific plan, and also because it's an infill development, is exempt from environmental review. Oh, last but not least, this map does show that the property is located, portion of the property is located within the 100-year flood zone, which is designated by this diagonal hatching here. The proposed uses that are being shown for the site, so there's 2 buildings. Building 1 has 1 restaurant and 4 retail/tasting rooms proposed, and Building 2 has 4 retail/tasting rooms proposed, for a total of 10,529 square feet. Outdoor seating, permanent outdoor seating is shown on the patios for a little over 6,000 square feet. And I may point out here that the outdoor seating, with permanent outdoor seating, does count towards the parking requirement. Amenities include landscape courtyard plaza areas, bocce ball court, decorative hardscape, pedestrian pathways, and views of the Zaka Creek corridor.
Irma, can you back up a minute on that? Counts toward parking requirements, so there has to be so many spaces for the permanent seating, is that what?
Correct. Anytime there's permanent outdoor seating used for restaurant or other type of uses where they will have patrons permanently seated,
Okay.
it does count towards the parking requirement, so 1 per 300 square feet would
Okay.
be applied in this
Okay,
case.
got it, thanks.
Okay, so the building footprint is 10,529 square feet, same as the building area square footage, given that it's a one-story building. It's roughly 13% of the parcel area. The building heights vary from 17 feet to 23 feet, with the architectural features reaching 25 feet. And as previously mentioned, 35 feet is allowed in this area, so it's compliant with the height requirement. A total of 73 parking spaces are proposed, with 61 being required. This includes 3 handicap spaces being provided, plus 1 loading zone. Bicycle racks will also need to be provided and will need to be shown on the plans. And the 61 number of spaces required is asterisk because this may change. At the present time, no tenants have been identified, and the number of employees are just an estimate. So if there's any additional employees, this requirement may change, but they are showing 12 more spaces than the minimum required, so they should be able to accommodate that. The setbacks, and I'll point this out in the next slide, which is the map of the area, but the setbacks vary on the front, which is along Highway 246. It varies from 6 feet to 29 feet, and the buildings are set at street grade, so they are pedestrian friendly. The rear setbacks are 100 to 200 feet, running along the contour of Zaka Creek. This side, this will come up later also as a comment, but the top of bank and the 50-foot creek setback from Zaka Creek will need to be shown on all of the plans. The side setbacks, there's 10 feet on the east with the vacant land beyond, that's towards the Shell station. And on the west side, it's a 48-foot setback from the property line. And I will point out a situation here that it's really 3 feet from an existing retaining wall with a vacant parcel in between the retaining wall and the property line that we are asking the applicant to clarify what the proposed use will be for that parcel. At the current time, it's used for used to park used cars. That it's overflow parking for the used car lot that's on the corner. So I will just point to the parcel that I was just mentioning, which is the lot that's being used for overflow used car sales parking. Because this is part of the property that's being applied for under this application, they will need to indicate what's being proposed there, or if they intend to leave it vacant. So this is the existing site plan. The buildings that I mentioned that are on the property are, this is the former Trace Rosis building, and there's small buildings existing on the property which are all proposed for demolition. This is the existing Ellen's restaurant, the Coast Auto used car sales, parking for Ellen's restaurant, and one of the comments that we have on the plans is they really need to clearly delineate what's part and not part of the proposed project. This parking lot, this parcel actually appears to be part of the parking that they're proposing along this entire lot here, which is part of the property. And there's another sliver of a lot shown here, and that really is part of this property up here, so this line is not really an operative property line. Flying Flags is down here with an adjacent structure that needs to be labeled just to show what that is.
Do we know where ingress and egress is is it on 246 and
Yes, and
Avenue Flags?
I'll show you that a little bit more later, but I can also point that out right now. Access is being proposed along this existing driveway,
Okay.
and there's through traffic, and there's a site plan later that's going to show this a little bit more clearly, but basically there's other access proposed right here with a new driveway along Avenue Flags. And here we go, more clearly shown. This is the Perot site plan. A new restaurant with 4 tasting rooms / retail uses here, and an additional 4 tasting rooms / retail here. Access is here, parking is along this access, and new driveway is right here. I would also like to point out this irregular front lot line here. This is actually part of the right-of-way for Highway 246. It's under Caltrans jurisdiction, so they will need to seek an encroachment permit from Caltrans for use of that property and get those plans approved. The architectural design is generally compliant with Art Deco. Our contract architect has completed the design review on this, and there are elements that need to be just further developed and detailed, descriptions of the Art Deco detailing. This includes all the buildings and other items such as the trellises. The trash enclosure will also need to be Art Deco compliant, and the fencing needs to be described more clearly. There were comments the architect made on building massing and articulation, asking for greater variation in the wall planes, facade step backs, perhaps some vertical articulation with some tower elements more accentuated. Other comments include consideration of an alternate color schemes, as the one provided is quite neutral. There is a color board